La 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 la. Feeling groovy. Feeling groovy. Thank you for your question, Pepper. Hey y'all, this is Cindy. Whoops, I'm singing on my phone now. Good, good. And I thought I had all that turned off. Hey y'all, this is Cindy. I'm the crazy tireless tangler today, and I want to welcome you to my channel. We are doing a fun project where we are taking the new project pack by Zentangle, Project Pack 14, and we are using those videos, but using them with our own materials, as I am someone like many of you who do not have the project pack, and I thought it would be fun to see what kind of fun we could have with it. So today we are doing day 3, in which Rick, in his wowness, tangles paradox for us. He used Hollis and Moon Pie on the outside. I changed that up and used, I want to call this flu, but Maria called it sort of a faux muka in one of the Project Pack 11 videos. So I sort of changed it up and did my own thing, and that's fine. You can do that. For materials today, I'm using my Canson Mixed Media sketch pad. It is 7 inches by 10 inches, so not too big. And I'm going to be using a brown 01 micron, a black one as well. I'm using a black PN, but probably just for this thick line around here, and a graphite pencil. And then I am going to really have fun with my charcoal pencils, or my pastel pencils. For the generals, people that have generals, I'm using canary yellow, pink, scarlet red, and rose madder. And the pink, scarlet red, and rose madder are all sort of one and the same. And adding the yellow and the scarlet is a lot of fun here. So let's get started and see what kind of trouble we can get into. I know we can do it. Now, if you have a bijou tile available, I used a bijou tile to draw my rectangle with. I drew in one, and then I lined it up with the other side, and I drew in the other side, and then I did the aura around. Okay, so that for me made a really nice rectangle without measuring. However, if you want to use your ruler, you can, and you can measure 2 inches by 4 inches. Okay, and I'm sorry I don't know what that is in centimeters. Shauna Davis, I have gotten your emails, and I'm sorry, honey, I haven't had the chance to write a long enough email back to you to talk about this whole thing. So please know that I am trying to get there. Hi, Carlito and Jackie and Kay and Charo. Hola, Charo. ¿Cómo estás? And Patty and Ren. Hi, Ren and Marilyn. Hi, guys. Thank you for coming today. Probably because it's a mustard color, Carlito says. All right. So let me take myself off the screen if I can figure out how to do that. I'm playing with this program, which I'm enjoying once I could get things to work. Oh, see how easy that was? I'm so smart. I'm really not. Don't get excited. All righty. Okay. So I'm going to get a new page in my sketch pad, and I haven't quite decided what quote I want to use around this. This is rather large, and so I may want to, I don't know. I'm still thinking about it, but still pretty. So I like it. All right. So let me get a new page here. And I am enjoying what is happening to my sketch pad by doing this in them. Each page is something lovely and new. Okay. If I can get organized here. So I am just going to take my bijou tile and try to center it fairly center. I mean, I'm not gonna worry if it's not perfect. And we're gonna see. I'm gonna try not to go around the corners because I tend to draw, when I ink it in, then I draw these rounded, and that's a bad thing for the paradox that goes inside. Just a little note for you to consider. All right, do I have this lined up? Let's pretend I do and go ahead. And there we go. And then I can just extend this just a little bit. I just have problems with the extending part. There we go. So doesn't have to be perfect, but it helps if you've got right angles on the paradox. Okay, so, and then I'm just going to draw through here. And then I've already got my first line sketched in, right? So you know exactly that it's in 2 halves. Okay, can everyone see okay? Because this looks really dark on my screen. Let me look on my phone. Actually, it looks okay. All right. And we decided I couldn't zoom, right? Okay. All right. So let's switch to the 01 in brown. At least that's what I want to do. Of course, you can use whatever color you want. And I have to tell you, I used a fine liner for this. I tried it with the blue, metallic blue gel pen. I've tried this with several different colors. So but I always love the look of shaded brown, and brown goes so great with colors because it sort of blends with everything. So that's why I decided to use brown in the end, but of course you can use whatever color you like. So it is allergy season in Oklahoma, which means that my voice and my ability to stay unyucky in my upper respiratory area is going to be challenged. So paradox based on polygons. This will work with any polygon shape. However, the more sides, the more difficult. Okay. I will also say this is one of the most difficult patterns ever invented for someone like me. Straight lines are so difficult for me, and this is all straight lines. There are no curves in this, even though the end result looks curvy. And I suppose your lines do get a bit curvy as you go. But this is very difficult for me. Now, as it should purely be, this is a continuous line tangle, as you can start at one end and end up in the middle and never lift your pen. Of course, I can't do that. And Rick teaches us, I'm talking about Rick Roberts, the co-founder of the Zentangle Method, teaches us this pattern. He turns his tile each and every stroke of the pen. Now, that's a lot, especially if you're working in a sketch pad. But even in the booklet on the Zentangle video, Rick turned his booklet for each and every stroke. And that, guys, is the reason why his paradox is second to none. He has the best paradox, and you should absolutely watch him draw it at some point because he's awesome. Straight line tangles, grid tangles, those are his thing. Maria is sort of the organic whimsy in that pair, and Rick is the calm monk. All right. So what he did was divide each square in half, right? And I played with configurations of this on about 10 different goes. I tried turning these sideways. I tried all kinds of different things. So we're going to see what we get up to today. And then depending which side you want to do what, he divides these squares diagonally. And you could divide them this way, but you want them to come to a point. Okay, so this is what we have. How's everybody doing? Let me look and see if there are any any questions that I've missed. Ooh, lots of people. Hi, guys. Hi, Dawn. Hi, Petra. Hi, Shauna. All right. Okay, here we go. Rick does have a lot of patience, Carlito was saying. He does. All right. So what I want on mine to happen in my paradox configuration is I want that fan shape that comes out. Do I have one that's easy to show? Yeah. Okay. So I want this fan shape that comes out here. This is the diagonal lines in these two boxes, right? And this is the middle line. And so this is where I want this fan shape to go. Okay. So that's what I'm doing. Excuse me. All right. I will say this right now. The last time I did Paradox, I had a comment that was a little hurtful, but very honest and true. And it was that I was horrible to watch when I draw Paradox because of the way I do it. And because it's supposed to be a continuous line tangle, um, um, you know, it should be done in a certain way. And that is the way that Rick does it, which goes like this. You start in one corner, and I'm going to start at the bottom of where I want this fan shape to go, which is where this point is. Start on the right angle below that. And just put a little wedge in there. Then where I stopped, we're going to put another wedge in. Where I stopped, wedge. And I'm going to turn this wedge. And that's what made her crazy, was that instead of going out for each one, there are places and angles that my hand has less shaking to push out. And so that made her crazy. And so I will say right now that the way I draw this is probably not the best plan. You do what the best plan is. You understand now how it's supposed to go, right? From where you stop, wedge. Where you stop to the next, right? And again, Rick turns his each time. I guess I did do that right, didn't I? Well, sometimes I don't do it right. Okay. I'm actually kind of on a roll. Don't get excited. It'll go south here in a minute. Now, here's where people think there are curves. Here's what happens. We are following this line and this line. This is what's going to make these fan shapes, right? Right here. And as we come around, this naturally has a curve in it. So you're going to find that your strokes are going to start naturally curving, right? You can enhance that if you want, like I just did. And the way I do that is I start on the last one, I redraw this line and go out from there. That also tends to get me a cleaner transition. But this is me. Do it the way you want. Now, Rick's strokes all look the same. You know why? Because he turns his dial each time. He is the king of paradox, at least in my opinion. And he's very inspiring to watch because, and they show this, actually, one other high five for Zentangle on this, they showed this mirrored for those who draw left-handed. So this is why you should turn your tile each time. So when Rick drew it, it looked like it was from a left-handed perspective, which was a little confusing for me, but I got why they did that, because those of you that are lefties, you know, you struggle. Okay, so I have trouble with this spot where this should curve further in and come from this last spot, right? So you have to take your time and not allow yourself to get confused about what you're doing. This is a high focus tangle. Now, because we have an elongated shape here, this is going to be weird in the middle, but just let it do what it's doing. It's going to be fine. Yeah. All right. Let me see if I have any questions. You guys in chat, make sure you yell at me if I have questions. Otherwise, I'm not going to worry about you. Okay, now, how do you translate this into the areas, into the shapes around it, and know what to do next? Well, Rick pointed out in his video that what you want to do is from side to side, you want to mirror what you've done. Okay, so that's the next thing I'm going to do, is I'm going to mirror this. So I'm going to start at the same place. And I'm going to go the other direction. Okay. All right, Cindy, slow down. Thank you for making me sing today, Jackie. She was asking who sang the Feeling Groovy song. Simon and Garfunkel, girl. Feeling groovy. And then I had to sing when we were done. Feeling groovy. All right. Don't. Okay, Cindy, don't. This is where I tend to lose focus. Let's keep focused on what we're doing. Hi, Lisa. Welcome. All right. Oh, it's groovy. It is cumbersome to turn your book every time, but you will have much better results, as I do, if you will take the time to do it. Okay. Make sure I'm still in frame, because we all know how that goes with me. Okay, so sometimes I switch my direction up. I apologize for that. But it helps. Ideally, of course, you want these all to be consistent size-wise with each other. Again, something I struggle mightily with. But if it's hard for you, that doesn't mean you shouldn't try. And after I after I considered not doing this one for the last day, I decided to buck up, because the honest truth is I love paradox. I hate doing it, but I love paradox. Actually, I don't hate doing it. I hate that I have so it makes me feel out of control, you know? That's that's my honest truth. You can tell I've been in therapy, can't you? And there again is one of those awkward little turns. Okay, here's going to be another one. So my advice is do the best you can. This is why the more sides, the more difficult. This part gets more difficult. The tighter it gets, the harder it is to keep clear that you've got 5 sides, right? And towards the end, sometimes I just don't care. Okay, so we have a decent mirrored image here, right? And I was telling myself yesterday that, excuse me, that no matter what I did line wise, once I got it shaded and everything, nobody was going to notice. I kept telling myself that, and then I did yesterday, or the thumbnail today, and I went, you know what? Nobody's going to notice my lines. So here we go. And if you notice, I don't care. So there. Okay. All right. Here we go. Now, where do you go from here? Whatever we do, we're going to mirror on both sides. All right. So let's think this through. I did it multiple different ways on my example. And we can't exactly mirror what's going on here because, of course, we have a different shape. So I'm thinking, let's see, did we start? We started here. So this was our second stroke. What if we, okay, so what if we do this? Start from here and go this direction and see what happens. Okay. Thank you, Nancy and Susan, for the super chats. You guys are awesome. How is your dad doing, Susan? I missed if you said. I'm sorry. Susan's dad was in the hospital with COVID pneumonia. Okay, so if you do this number where you make a really big mess, just tap an extra line in there. Nobody's gonna notice. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Off oxygen. Oh my goodness, that's great. That is great. Thank goodness. That is wonderful news. That is wonderful news. All right. So that's what I did with this one. So I'm going to turn this around and do the exact same thing over here, right? I started here. So I'm going to start here. That was a little too skinny, but that's okay. Now I'm drawing this backwards. Don't do it this way. If you don't have a reason to do it this way, don't. Sometimes I am going right, but sometimes I'm not. So this one is not hard because it's a triangle. Triangles are really easy to do paradox with. I love working with triangles and paradox. For one thing, the lines tend to be shorter, and that gives me more control over them. At least I think it does. Okay. I want to add another line here. I really do. All right, whatever. Okay. Now, if you wanted perfect paradox, you should not be watching this video or this live stream. But 100% because he was vaccinated. That is great. That is great. Okay. Now where do we go from here? So this was again my second stroke here. So what if we go opposite or do what we did in these two, but they're separated? Does that make sense? So on this one, I started basically here and went this way. Imagine this section were over here, right? We had another point. That's what we would be doing. So let's turn this opposite and do this the opposite way and see what happens, okay? It'll be fun. All right, so we're going to start down here, and we're going to make this half of a fan going this way, okay? I'm going to try to be a good girl here. Set a positive example. No promises. And if you can match up your lines, so much the better. And if you can't, you don't sweat it. Again, once you get it shaded, a lot of that stuff just blends into the background. At least that's what I tell myself. I should believe me because I'm right. All right. And here we go. Not that wide, Cindy. I'm out of control already. Deep breath. It's going to be fine. No mistakes, right? Only opportunities to put Bronx cheer in. That's what I say. I haven't done a Bronx cheer in a while. You never know. Okay. I will check on you guys in chat here. Oops, Cindy. In just a minute, as soon as I stop jerking. It's fun day. Did I lose one of my sides here? Probably so. Yeah. Don't do as I do. Do as you're supposed to and ignore me. All right. That is not easy. That is not an easy turn in there with with 5 sides. So just saying. Ms. Oscara, sometimes while turning the tile, wait, let me show what we're doing. Sometimes while turning the tile, I forget where my last name was. There's an easy way to figure out where to pick it up. Oh, yes. Well, it's a good question. It's a good question. She is asking if you're halfway into your shape and you get interrupted and you come back and you forget where you started or forget where you're at, is there an easy way to figure it out? I don't know about easy, but there is a way to sort of start that. So I'll example for you. What I do is I know where I start. That's the main thing. You know where your start line is, right? And so here's my first stroke. And so if I get in, let's do 1 or 2 more here. Okay. So like this. So now, what if I get interrupted and I come back here and I'm trying to figure out where I was? So here's what I do. I don't know how easy this is, but here's what I do. I find my initial line, 1, 2. Initial line, 1. Initial line, 1, 2. Or this was my initial line. This is 1, 2. Okay. So here I have 1, 2. So I've been all the way around and I know I need to start with my first one. Okay. So that's how I do it. there's nothing charming or easy about that, but that's how I do it. That's how I figure out where I'm at. The joys of paradox. I'm so grateful for the triangles. Yes, I am. Then you always know where you're going. Now, another note about paradox. The more densely packed you make your lines. Now, if you're good at straight lines, you should try Kim Eliant. If you ever listen to this, you should try this packed really densely with the lines really narrow and close to each other, because that is a very cool effect. My problem is the wiggles and everything ruins that, and yeah, it's not so effective. So what did I do? I started right here. So let's do that. Mirrored, right? And if you get your lines turned another way and yours does something different than mine, that is okay. The example that's on the thumbnail is completely different from this, and that's okay too. It's because I intentionally changed it up, and that's all right. Whatever happens with paradox ends up being interesting and cool. Now, if you're into symmetry, there are ways to do that. It's mostly about mirroring in order to get symmetry, get the fan shapes and that kind of thing. You're mirroring from space to space. All right. Christiana, you're missing the point. She was funny. She said, there's something called a ruler. I mean, really? Yeah. That's kind of not the point, though. Yes. If you use a ruler, you can get perfect lines. You're right. But then you haven't focused on each stroke in the same way, and you haven't created something hand drawn. You've used an aid. However, it is a great way to get this to look pretty if that's where you're going. Like, for example, if you're trying to sell a piece of art and you want it perfect, yes, use your ruler. Absolutely. I would too. All right. Now I've got the opposite of this. So where did I start this? Over here. Oh, I did, nope, I did this. So I'm mirroring this, so I'm going to make the fan again, okay? Or in this case, half the fan. This is not easy, Kay. This takes practice. I spent probably a week and a half when I was a beginner learning this, and I drew it everywhere. I was constantly drawing squares and triangles and putting paradox in there. And then one day I figured out about the patterns that happen when you put them together certain ways. And then I was off for another week drawing paradox in different ways. And so I am friends with it. I'm good friends with it. I understand how the patterning works and how to get the effects that you want and all of that. But I can't draw a freaking straight line. Maybe I need to do a curved version of paradox. I've definitely got a deckled version here, don't I? Deckled is the wiggly lines. I mean, you know what I mean. All right. Not doing such a good job on this. Now, of course, if you're adding lines in, that really screws up the counting thing, so just be aware. I'm evil, aren't I? Christiana is saying whatever she gets very zenful with her ruler. You go, girl. You do it however makes you happy to do. That's the bottom line on this is do what makes you happy, what makes it easier and relaxing. If erasing makes you more relaxed, then erase. If you know, if using a ruler makes you more relaxed, then use a ruler. You know, whatever it takes for you to have fun with this, that's what we want you to do. And Rick and Maria and Molly and Martha say all the time, and Julie say all the time, you know, that they are inspired by what other people do. So remember, it does not have to be the same as anyone else's. So if you go south on one of these sections, meaning if you make a mistake and turn your lines the wrong way or whatever, just go with it and see what you end up with. Where was I? No counting here. I just start wherever it looks like it needs a space and go from there. All right, here we go, Cindy. Big, deep breath. All right, big, deep breath. All right, here we go. Turn, baby, turn. Oh, that's burn, baby, burn. All right. I'm about to get a double loop going on here. Watch and learn. Now I'm going to fess up. I'm going to confess. Sometimes when I lose track of a side, I just leave it out and go with whatever's left. So just throwing that out there too. Because this is terrible. And this is why you want fewer sides on this tangle. And now I'm going backwards. And this is where I end up there, right? So do the best you can. Nobody's coming to your house to check how you did this. All right. Okay. Whew. Well, we got the hard part out of the way now. How's everybody doing? Hi, PJ's been fighting with the water company. Good luck, baby girl. Bureaucracy. Now, let's have some fun with, wait, no, still need to draw a little bit. So I'm going to grab my 01 in black, although I can't find it. Why? It was right. Oh, that's because I took it out and laid it right here. I'm a crazy lady today, guys. Crazy lady. All right, so I'm going to get my 01 in black. There might actually be Zentangle police, Christiana says. Hopefully not. Whew, hopefully not. You know, Carlito, I figured out how to put your comments on the screen, right? Oh, I love my crew. Love my crew. So for those of you who missed it, we had our Zoom meetup yesterday, which is always so much fun. Learned some more about each other. Had some new people, a few. Didn't get to talk to a few. Aloha Kim Springer from Hawaii. And yeah, she didn't get to talk at all yesterday. We were blathering on. Saw some beautiful art. Christiana is making greeting cards that are just gorgeous. And who else? Oh, Annie Sargent. Annie, you just rock, girl. And she showed us her journal that she's been doing the 100 days in. Wowie, wowie. It is so beautiful. Oh my God, that thing is full of gorgeous art. Gorgeous art. Okay. So, Ms. Oscara says if there are Zentangle police, they're probably lurking in Facebook. I agree. Avoid Facebook at all costs. However, Nancy Pierce, one of our admins in the Facebook group, I had the right prescription today. One of the admins said in the Zoom meeting yesterday that she didn't go on Facebook for anything but the group. So she got up in the morning, she had Facebook loaded, but only in the group. She didn't go anywhere else. She was only inside our group. And that was nice. That was nice to hear. It was nice to know that there is a safe place that you guys like to hang out with each other. So, all right. Nancy is an enabler. So you guys can do whatever you like around here. But before we do that, I'm going to get out my chalk pastel pencils. These are from Generals. I showed them earlier. The pink and the rose madder is what I started with. So what I'm going to do is shade this with chalk pastels, right? So I'm going to start with my darkest color down in the base. Now, this is where at the very end, I'm going to put my rose madder or my scarlet red because this gets really grayed out after a while. And then I'm going to put my pink up here on top and sort of blend it in down there a little bit. And then I've got my canary yellow. And I'm going to put this up on the top part. And if I have room, I'm going to leave white up here, preferably white. All right, let me find my little chalk pastel tortillon here. Also, if you have the Mono Zero eraser, that is going to be your friend today, big time. All right, I need to make sure this is clean. So, yeah, that'll do. That'll do, pig. That'll do. All right, so I'm going to start with my yellow and buff that out. Now, by the end, my tortillon is going to be filthy, so don't sweat that. We're going to be blending all this stuff anyway. And all we're doing is sort of pushing the color down into the tooth and blending it with each other right now, right? So pretty cool. And then as the end step, I come back in here with the scarlet red and really deepen that dark color down at the base. Now, you do not want to scrub your hand across this. Now, and you can also do this with colored pencils, by the way, with 3 colored pencils or 4 colored pencils. A dark red, like a magenta, a pink, and a yellow will also work in your colored pencils. Oh, Cindy, Christiana says, my Mono Zero needs reloading. Seems into... Oh, that's a good question, Christiana. I don't know. I will have to see. I don't think I've ever reloaded one before. I'll have to look at it and see. Let's see. I don't want to push mine out too far. I bet you there's a video online. I'll find out for you, honey. I'll find out for you. Okay. Now, let's get back to it and color in all of these. Enjoy putting color on today. It doesn't matter the order that you put the colors in, as long as you get them in the right spots. And of course, whose opinion is it where it's right? So that's up to you. Try really hard not to get it in your border area, but an eraser, a good eraser will pick some up if you need. So if you don't have a lot of room, your little layers are really short, and you don't have a lot of white up at the top, you want to leave just a little bit of that, okay? A little bit of yellow on that area. And we can put some more on there. It's not the end of the world if it gets a little bit mucked. But preferably leave a little bit of white somewhere, okay? All right, go, go, go. All right, so while you're working in this type of medium, you're going to want a piece of cardstock or copy paper or something that you can lay your hand on when you're working over an area that you've already worked, right? So I'm going to put my 4 pencils in my fingers here and my tortillon in the other, and I'm going to see what kind of trouble I can get into here. So this one is going to be next. Always the base of your fans. You want dark, and if you're using a graphite pencil, this is the exact same technique. Of course, you'll have to blend out your graphite to get the shading differences, but you can do that. That is possible for sure. And I'm just going to put this dark color along the edge here. So it will always, the color will always be behind the fan shape, right? So behind this and behind this. So the dark color coming up. And so here again, behind. And once you've done paradox as many times as I have, this will all be second nature for you. What are y'all buying on Amazon? I missed it. Copic markers. Did I hear somebody say Copics? Oh, man. Copic does have a pen that you can buy refills for, but be careful. It's a specific set that is refillable, and they have the exact same pen in a non-refillable kind. And so if you're not really careful what you order, especially with the refills, you can get something you don't want. I have a couple of refills that I can't use because it's for the wrong pen. All right. All right. Remember, you want color, dark color behind where the fan shapes are. If you ever get confused about what you're doing, start between a set of fans. Now, I don't have the shape on this tile because I did what Rick did on his, but on the other tile that I did for the thumbnail, I have a completely different configuration where we have sort of these rolling barrels out of it, and I really love that configuration too. You will just have to play with changing your starting point and see what happens. And once you've drawn it enough, you will start to see what happens. It will become clear to you how this was constructed, but it does take practice. Okay. Plural of Cindy. What? Yeah, Copic would. Ms. Oscara said they changed their pen. Copic changed their pen design so that their new refills would not fit in the old pens. That I believe, so that you have to buy new pens to fit the new refills. That I believe. Anything to make money. And Copic markers are expensive. Anything Copic is expensive. So, as somebody who has wanted some gray Copics for forever and still cannot afford a set of 5 gray Copics, $64 US. $64 for 5 pens. And one of them is clear. Just saying. One of them's clear. Yes, Carlito. What up, girl? Buy who markers. I don't know how to say that. Yes, I have been looking at those, and I have seen several reviews on them. So I was actually thinking of trying some out. So thank you for that recommendation. Oh who. You can get the Chow ones. I can. Yes, I can. How do I spell plural if Cindy for your plural what? A plural Cindy? Like there's more than one of me? That's a scary thought. Oh hoo. Oh hoo hoo. Oh hoo hoo. That's even harder. Okay. All right. Yes, it's apostrophe S, my little one. CYNDEE apostrophe S. So Mari got let off duty today because he's going to have to mow the lawn later. He's unhappy about that. The apostrophe means the letter was there. Not yes, Carlito, it does, but it also means it also shows possession. Like that the Zenders belong to Cindy. You're getting someone that tutors English, so it is also a form of possession. See, Ms. Oscara said so. She has a Ms. on her name, so she must be right. Her name is actually, oh goodness, I want to say Carlita, but that's not it. That's somebody else, isn't it? I'm confused. So I've changed to my pink. And I'm just putting some pink in here on top of the rose. I don't want it to go up too far because I've still got yellow to put on there. But on these big ones, you know, you can bring it up a little further. Just want it to be especially nice here, since this will be our central element. I have to say I love working with chalk pastels. They are so lovely for blending and shading and all of those Zentangle things we do. Don't forget, if you like chalk pastels, though, to get yourself some of this workable fixative stuff. In the US, Krylon makes it with a K. And if you know, elsewhere, I know you guys have it. It's called workable fixative. And what you do is you spray it on, and it seals your work, what's there, to the page, but still allows you to come back over. You can even still erase it at that point, but it will keep your chalk from rubbing off and such. And it's a nice thing. Just don't put it on indoors, right? It's paint. Just saying. I only know this because I put it on indoors once. My Sean came home and he went, Cindy, what are you doing? Don't put that on in here. It's dangerous. Yeah. All right. Carlita is John. That's who it is. Sorry, Carlita. I said your name for somebody else. I didn't mean to. So now I'm dipping this yellow a little bit into my pink. I'm just rubbing it in on top. These are so nice and smooth. And I love the mix between the pink and the yellow. You don't need any orange for this, although you could add orange if that's what you wanted. Got a little too much pink on that one. But a little hint of yellow at the top is really what we need. Okay. If you can manage paradox to get at least a decent paradox, you can really do so much with it, and it's so much fun. The smell is addictive. Love Krylon. You guys are nutbags, you know that, right? All of y'all. Oh, they're sniffing your paint. Don't do that. You know that's stupid, right? Don't do that. Sniffing paint is bad. I feel like I'm in junior high again. Stop that. Y'all are old enough to know better than that. Yes, that is bad for you to breathe, ladies and gentlemen. So do not do it inside. Don't do it in your studio, even if it's well ventilated. It's going to be in the air for hours after that. Again, the voice of experience here. All right, I think I have got all my little spots. All right, time to blend. Oh, I forgot to put the red down in the bottoms. It seems like such a little thing, but it really does make a big difference. Depth-wise. As if I can see to do it. All right. All right. Okay. Also remember that you can take up color if you get too much someplace. You can remove it with eraser somewhat, not completely, but somewhat. So I am going to try starting with my yellows here. My tortillon got sort of yucky. And I'm going to blend the tops out first so that I don't need to come up there anymore, and then I'll mess with the bottoms. All right. And so like here, I can bring my eraser in, my Mono Zero, especially good for this kind of thing, and just lighten up the tip of that a little bit. It's the perfect size for that kind of thing. So I'm blending this yellow before I get my tortillon in the pink and the red and the rose and all that stuff. Okay. Okay, so today's Wednesday. So guys, do not expect a video or a live stream on Friday, but do expect, or maybe Saturday. It just depends on how the traveling goes. But do expect to see me on Sunday. Okay. Just like we did this week. That way I have 2 days to travel and hopefully recover from the traveling. All right. All right. All right. Let's go. Let's get in the red and the pink and have some fun. Again, I'm trying really hard not to get this in the spots that I want to be white. Anyplace else? Yeah, go. Yeah, colored pencils will work just as well. They just won't blend quite as quickly and easily as these do. But of course, they're going to stay longer and you won't have to use fixative on them. Although when you finish your art, you should use that anyway. That'll keep it from aging quite so fast and from things rubbing off. Okay. You know, every time we blend something, we should make an ASMR video. But then I'd have to stop talking, and that's no fun. Oh my goodness. This is what happens when you don't keep yourself busy enough. All right. Oh, check it out. I don't know how well you can see this, but yeah. What do you think? Nice. Vielen Dank, Petra. Du bist ganz süß. Vielen Dank. Okay. Okay. What do y'all think? Pretty nice and simple? Yeah. Okay, now quickly, we won't have time to do all of the outside because that's a little bit more laborious. But grab this just a little bit here and there. Be really careful when you erase around these and try to rub off the. I need to find a paintbrush that I can use for this. All right. So just be careful. Okay, now. So on my example, let's see. Did I used a 0, 1, I think, to draw in my little things. So I'm going to go ahead and do those little faux muka things. I seem to have the best result with those. And so I'm going to show you how I set it up, and then you guys are smart. You can figure out how to add them in wherever you want, right? Okay. Moon pie-ish. Well, we can do moon pie for sure. All right. So what I did was I did this. I started with the corners, and I did each one exactly the same way, but turned a different direction. So for example, let's start here. And again, this is something Maria Thomas did in Project Pack 11. I can't remember which day. And then you just aura, which of course is the difficult part. There you are. Okay, and now the next one, let's do it this way. Well, all right. What I do is I draw a little circle down or a little orb down there in the base and go around it a couple of times, and then I fill in the rest around it and make it small, and there you got your little highlight. I don't like to make mine circular, but you can do what you want. Cindy. Out of control. This one's got a tiny little stem, and this one's got a big thick one. Okay, so I did this on this corner. So I'm going to go to this corner and point it this way and do that same thing again. Sad, sad days. Ooh, that one went pretty well. I'm having a terrible time today. Just a terrible time. But I'm not going to let it stop me from doing this because my last one turned out all right. So Barbara's checking in. No problem, Barbara. She says she's sorry she missed the live stream today. We like seeing you when we see you, girl. It's exhausting. All right. Now you can keep these small into this or make them large and flowy, however you like. Whatever it is that makes you happy. There we go. Once again, now this way. Yeah? Does that make sense, I hope? Oh, yeah? Okay. My niece is getting married on Friday. Finally. Well, she got married officially on Facebook last year. Now she's having her ceremony, though. Even wiggly art can be pretty, guys. It'll get there. It'll get there. You know, spend a lot of time in the ugly stage in art. You have to have faith that when you get done, it won't be ugly anymore. Took me a long time to get to where I actually believed that was true. But now I believe it. I have been proven wrong too many times. Kay says if you don't have the fixative spray, you can use. Can you use hairspray? I have heard of that, only if igniting, really, Carlito. I have heard of that before, but I have never heard anybody that I trusted say that. So I don't know. You all have to ask those that are wiser than I. I'm skipping the ugly stage most of the time. You are cute. How long have you been watching my videos, Christiana? Have you been through all of my 100 days projects? There's lots of ugly staging in there. Not all of them have that terrible spot, but a lot of them do. So what I did next, I picked a spot here and I did this same shape again. Okay, and now I'm going to use my, let me make sure I don't have chalk on there. Now I'm going to cover this up, okay, so that we don't do what? Let's see. That was the 80s. Don't do it. I tried it and it smudged everything. Okay, well, there you go. All right, so I'm going to come out of this borderline again, the same way I did over here, but just sort of, and I'm going to do it on one edge or one end, sort of. Okay, so sort of, a lot of sort ofs here. And there's a trick to these little guys. You have to sort of get into it. Sometimes you get a little too much ink and then you have a great big honking one, but it's all right. Just pretend like you don't notice. And of course, take your time while aura-ing, Cindy. Got a whole lot of little white dots in here today, don't I? Goodness. That's all right. That's all right. Here at the Tireless Tangler, we do not do perfection, but we still do beautiful art. And that is my message. Your art does not need to be perfect in order to be beautiful. If you don't believe that from watching me, there's something wrong with you. Okay, so I've got another one. Now over here, I'm going to continue around my rectangle and add more. Again, on one side or to one side. You might want to make it smaller on the edges, just up to you, whatever you think is going to work for that space that you've got. Okay. And then aura. Listen to me. I sound like them now. Now aura. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. You can say it how you want to, as long as you're doing it. Okay, Carlito, you're in trouble now. Look at me. Look what I can do. Here we go. Where is that? Where is that comment? Right here. There you go. I'm hell on wheels with buttons now. Gotta watch out. All right. I don't think we have a single person from Facebook, do we? Oh, no. Nobody from Facebook? That's okay. That's okay. Still, it'll be over there. All right. Now, once again, turning and repeating. Wrong angle. Can't see. All right. Okay. I need a new pen. This one, it still has plenty of ink in it, but it's starting to get scritchy when I move it more quickly, like in these types of strokes. I need a pen that's got a little more juice in there. This isn't bad. It's just truth. And this pen will get a little mark on it or some tape on the barrel, and I'll know it's an older pen and it's good for hatching. All right. So one more side. Yes, one more side. All right. There we go. All right. I'm going to have to buy a wrist weight and see if that helps the shaky lines. I never did get that done last year. It's something I was going to try. All right. Okay. So now you have this little business. They're all basically the same. Some have more room than others, right? So now what you want to do is put more elements in where and expect to draw some of them behind, depending on how large you make them and such. Okay, so up here you might want to go the opposite direction, or you may want to go the same way. It's entirely up to you. Remember, some asymmetry is always good for your art. Just good for me. All right. Okay. And here's our overlapping. Right. And repeat. Ooh. Doing something completely different here. But I was following my pen, so we're going to see where it leads. Sometimes those pens get minds of their own. All right. So do I want to put another one in and go this way? Just bring that all the way down here. Might look weird, but I'm just going with it. And we know that weird is our friend sometimes. It's not too much, right? I'm going to start my own kind of drawing called decal drawing or something. Tangling for those with deckled lines. Oh, okay. That looked weird for a minute. Okay. And here, once again, I'm going to have to stop here pretty soon. Nancy, I'm not sure. It's very similar to one called, Nancy sent me a pattern. A couple of you have sent me patterns. They are still in my email or whatever medium you sent them to me. I've got one from Linda, one from Nancy, and I've got some long emails from Shauna that I need to return. So I've got a couple that I'm looking at for you guys. It's very nice. It's a very nice tangle. There are some similar things out there, and what before you like would send it in or something, you would want to make sure that there's nothing out there that's the same. There are differences in it, the way that you have it, and than what I've seen. So what I want to do is draw it a couple of times and see what occurs. And Linda, the one that sent me the horse feathers tangle, I want you to send me a step out for that. I mean, I can, unless you want me to do one, which I of course can do, but I was just wondering if you had a specific way that you drew that tangle or that pattern that you would like me to follow. Okay, so at this point, well, I got one more, don't I? She's going off the reservation again. All right. I should stop saying that because, yeah. Anyway. Racism lurks in so many places in our language that we are not even aware of. And it's tough. Yes, ma'am. Hey, Kimberly, that's great news. Muscle spasm. Straight as the page. Cramp. Yeah, shake it out. I know. Me too. Cindy, Nancy says horse feathers. I love that name. That's actually the name of a magazine for writing for girls. That I love that magazine. It's terrific. I am a horse fanatic. I lost my therapy horse quite a few years back, so I haven't been on one in a while. But yeah. Okay. We're gonna have to figure out what to do with River while we're mowing the lawn because she's psychotic. She is absolutely psychotic. I may have to put her on a leash and just keep her with me. Okay, so this is the part I used the PN for. After I drew all of these little tendrils that I wanted in, then I used the PN to go around this. And then I just took my pink chalk pastel, whoops, that's yellow. And of course you can use whichever color you want. I don't think you want to go too dark, but this is a creativity thing and you can do, whatever you want. So, then what Maria showed with this thing was then she rounded all these edges, all these corners off, all the way around, had it, and then you had these sections. And she likened it to stained glass, which, you know, once you put in all the rounding, you definitely can get that sort of stained glass feeling from it. And then you come in with your chalk. And what I did on mine was just put the color down at the base. Oops. At the base. And I use little circles like I do with colored pencils. And I just drew it up just a little bit. Like this. Really gently. And then I took my tortillon and blend it out nice and close to this line. And then I'm going to draw that up into this area. And the more you go over that, the better, smoother blend you will have. And you just keep going over it until you have a nice smooth blend so that your color is dark in the base. And it goes to white on top. You don't want to put too much in on the base, but, you know, just enough to get you a good color. All right. Do I have an Amazon wish list? Well, no, not currently, but I certainly could make one for you. All right. Can I tell your cat that he is a butthead, but mom still loves him? Oh, you tell your cat. Oh, sorry. I read that wrong. Oh, goodness. I love you guys. You are just the best people ever. It's hanging out with you is so much fun. So I am going to leave this with you here. I've got something going on at 4 that I need to get ready for. But you can add as many tendrils in here, overlap them as much as you want. You can make them dense. Now on Rick's version, he had color in here, so he used regular graphite around it. And that was really a powerful thing. So, you know, you might want to consider instead of, or if you don't have chalk pastels, you might consider using regular graphite all the way around here. But colored pencil will work as well. And yeah, this is awesome. All right, guys, this is where I'm going to leave you today. I want to thank you for being with me, especially all of you guys in chat. Thank you to all of you who left me super chats and super stickers. I really appreciate that. And ciao to Ren and Nancy. Hi. I really appreciate you guys. Don't forget, if you are interested in this gorgeous turntable easel that I have, it has a lovely drawer in it and all kinds of good stuff. If you're interested in this, there is a link in the description below. Also, my Amazon shop link is in the description, as well as the link. Did I get the link in for the Facebook group? I don't know. Nancy sent me the link via Messenger and I got it, and I can share it with certain thing, but I can't copy the link, figure out how to copy the link and put it in my video. So I'm still working on. I'm old. Give me a break. So yay! I love you guys all. Hi, Christiana and Betsy and Patty and all my guys from Zoom yesterday. Carlito, we are making an effort to get you in that Zoom meeting. We want you there. So if we have to make you go to the library or something where they have a free computer, we can do that. Oh, Yolaine. Merci beaucoup. Helena, bye. Charo, nos vemos. And Charity, I love you back. All right. Nancy, I did answer you. What are we talking about? Yeah. All right. So don't forget to check the description if you need a link for anything. And otherwise, tomorrow is Thursday. I'm going to see you tomorrow in some form. I'm going to try to do another video, but whether or not I get it finished, I don't know. So we may be live. So it's, 50-50. We'll see. Whatever. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. And I'm going to see you later. Tell everybody, that we're on Facebook now too. Bye. Bye. All right. Much love.